I want to start with a question that I think almost everyone has asked at least once in their life, usually in a hospital corridor, or maybe after a funeral, or watching the news on a bad day. If there is a God who is all powerful and all good, then why is there so much suffering in the world? It sounds simple, it has been asked for thousands of years, and the interesting thing is not that it has no answers. I think the interesting thing is how hard those answers have to work. So today I am not here to tell you what to believe honestly. I am here to walk through this honestly, take the best reply seriously, and see where we end up. Let me put the puzzle in one breath, the way philosophers do. Um, if God is all powerful, God could stop suffering. If God is all good, God would want to stop suffering. And yet, suffering is everywhere. So, something in that picture has to give. That is the whole problem. And the attempts to solve it have a name. They're called theodicy, which just means trying to defend God's goodness in a world that contains so much pain. The most popular answer you might hear is free will. The idea goes like this: God gave human beings freedom. Real freedom means we can choose to do good, but it also means that we can choose to do harm. So the cruelty in the world is not God's doing, it is ours. We are the ones who lie, who steal, who go to war. And honestly, that is a decent answer for one kind of suffering, the suffering that humans cause to other humans. If you want a world with real love and real choice, maybe you have to accept the same freedom can be misused. But here is where I would gently push it. Free will might explain the cruelty that people do. It does not explain the child dying slowly of cancer. It does not explain the earthquake that might swallow a village in the night. It does not explain the animal trapped in a forest fire. Nobody chose those things. There is no villain to blame. This kind of suffering, the kind with no human hand behind it, just sits there, and free will has nothing to say about it. So, already the most popular answer only covers half the problem, and arguably the easier half, I would say. The next answer you will hear is that suffering makes us grow. It builds character, it deepens faith. Pain is a kind of school for the soul. And there is something to this. People do sometimes come out of hardship stronger, kinder, wiser. We can accept that. But sit with it for a second, because there are two quite problems here. First, if God is all powerful, why does God need to do all of this? An all powerful being could presumably grow a soul without breaking a body. The mechanism itself seems strange for a being who can do anything at all. And second, and this is the harder one, suffering does not reliably make people better. For every person who is deepened by tragedy, there is an other who's simply just crushed by it, broken, embittered, or who does not survive it at all. People who begin to have a villain arc. If pain were really a precise tool designed by a perfect engineer to grow the soul, you would expect it to work each and every time. And it does not work reliably. This is exactly what you would not expect from a perfect design, I think so, and exactly what you might expect from a world with no designer steering it at all. So the conversation often moves to a deeper place. The believer says, look, God's reasons are beyond us. We are too small to understand the purpose behind it. All trust that there is a reason, even if you cannot see it. Just do it. Now, I want to be fair. I think this is not a silly position. A small child does not understand why a loving parent always allows a painful injection at the doctor, and the gap between us and an infinite mind would be far larger than that. So I will grant that our inability to see a reason is not proof that there is no reason. But notice the quiet move that happens here, because it is easy to miss. The same person who says we cannot understand God's reason will, uh, in the very next sentence, tell you with full confidence that God is good. And here is the thing: goodness is also a claim about God. If we are truly too small to grasp God's reason, then I think we are also too small to be sure those reasons are good ones. You cannot say in one breath that you have no access to the why, and in the next breath that you have clear access to the goodness. It is one or the other. If God's ways are genuinely beyond us, then so is the claim that they are kind. There is one other more reply, and it is a comforting one. It says, yes, there is pain now, but the joy of what comes after will be so great that it kind of outweighs everything. The suffering will be swallowed up in something far bigger. And maybe so, but I want to draw one careful line here because it really matters. Outweighing is not the same as justifying. Imagine I break your arm and then afterward I hand you a fortune in the gold. The gold might more than make up for your broken arm. You might even say, on balance, you came out ahead. But the goal does not make breaking your arm a good thing to have done to even begin with, especially if I could have simply given you the goal without breaking the arm first at all. And that is the position the all powerful God is in. A being who can do anything did not have to set up the pain in order to deliver the reward. The compensation is lovely. It still leaves the original question standing, I think. So let me be honest about where we land because I did not think this question has a tidy bow on it. This is not a knockout blow against belief itself. I think people can and do hold their faith while carrying this question. The free will answer might genuinely handle human cruelty. The believer is not a fool here. Let's just grant that. But notice what is left on the table, the suffering that no one chose, the mountain of pain that no soul making seems to actually need, and the fact that every time we get close, the strongest defense is basically to just admit that we cannot really judge God's goodness after all. Here's the quiet takeaway, I think. A world with this much pointless looking suffering is frankly easier to expect if there is no one watching uh, over it than if there is someone all powerful, all loving who could change it in an instant and does not. That does not prove anything, I think, but it is a weight. And anyone who tells you this question is easy on either side has not really looked at it, I think. I would love to know what you guys think about it. Where does the strongest version of this land for you? Leave it in the comments, and I will see you on the next one.